Hey everybody, it's me Kelvin again. I'm here with another episode of the SimDem podcast. Today we are going to be interviewing the presidential candidates and their vice presidents for the upcoming election. Today I have my very special guest, Creative. Creative, would you like
Hello.
to introduce yourself?
Well, there's very little to say. I'm creative. I'm the vice presidential ticket for the SEP's presidential campaign, and I'm happy to be here.
So, that's very cool and all. Why did you decide to run?
It's like a multitude of factors. There's some personal, there's some political, and then there's just general. Personally, I've never been vice president, so I kind of was seeking out to be the vice presidential ticket for someone. Politically, the opportunity presented itself to run with SEPs. I've worked with SEPs in the past, and during the conversations leading up to the decision, just talking with SEPs about his plans, his ideas, his goals. I mostly aligned with everything basically, and I was just happy to run with the guy, and I do believe he would be a great president for some democracy. Not only because I've worked with him multiple times, but I think he's gone up the quote unquote stairs hierarchy of different roles and jobs in the executive, that I do think he's completely prepared to be president, and I align with most of what he has planned as president.
Wow, that was very insightful on your guys' ticket. Thank you so much, Creative. Our next question will be, what is the main focus for what you want to specifically change within SimDem, or what you want done?
Well, discussing with SEPs, I brought up the topic of legislative consolidation, which is a personal project of mine, and it's also a project from the LDP. It's part of the LDP party agenda. A month ago, I actually wrote 3 or 4 bills that would consolidate many other pieces of legislation, thus making it easier for just to check legislation, and I'd also improve slightly on these pieces of legislation. In this idea, this goal with SEPs, we talked about passing a new national security law, or counterterrorism laws, and I had the opportunity to write a large national security and order bill, and talking with SEPs, I've tweaked it and improved it, and I think that'll be our main focus: national security and just consolidating legislation from the executive. And obviously, alongside that, we'll be working with the different departments to see what needs to be changed, what could be improved, from the DOJ to the DOX, and I'm happy to work on that because I've worked in many of these departments. I've been the head of many of these departments, and it's just what we seek, really.
I see. That's overall very cool. I'm very experienced in what you've done and how everything just operates in general. Well, we'll move on. Will you support Supreme Court expansion, and why?
Well, this has been a contentious topic, especially since a few people have said the LDP does not support it. That there's nuance to it. With SEPs, we do support Supreme Court expansion, but in a different manner. We're working through making a bill to do that, but more so we're focused on getting candidates for Supreme Court justice that would be different from the usual roster of old, and forgive me for being more colloquial, old boomer justices that kind of return and have been a constant face in the Supreme Court. We think, especially with most of the majority of people in SimDem being active now, or new people, newbies, or that came from the Danyo video, we think new faces are in order, alongside some more experienced faces in our justice system.
Just to overall liven up the Supreme Court and make sure there's a new spin on SimDem that actually represents the new wave of people in SimDem, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, that's very cool. Well, what do you personally think on Tau and how the economy on the server should work? For reference, saying Tau is the currency, not the politics.
While I don't really interact with Tau, people have fun with the economy, right?
Yeah.
It's been a constant in the past that people that don't use the economy, that don't interact with it, want it repealed because they say it's stupid, that it's pointless. I disagree. If people are having fun with it and like give it meaning, even though it has no meaning to me, I think it should stay and should be an important part of SimDem, and should be an important a priority for the government and for like the executive to do something with it, right? And in the past, right, with the Minecraft server, there was ideas of connecting it to the Minecraft server so you could attach some value to it, say through diamonds. Those ideas never really came to fruition, but I think a sort of a system where Tau can also be used on the Minecraft server, or for different things on the server other than just what it's used for now, would be cool and interesting.
Okay, so just like a good back and forth, so actually making the economy very viable, especially bringing maybe even more like life to the Minecraft server as well.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Hopefully that something like that can be achieved, so of course we can get more activity on the Minecraft servers. Of course, there are some amazing builds. If you guys don't know about the Minecraft server, Creative is also a major player on it, and he's built a giant city that looks absolutely stunning. If you can, I recommend you go and check it out on the Minecraft server. Well, just like a free question, say something interesting about yourself. Like, say something people would find interesting, not like, oh yeah, I play video games online with my friends sometimes. Like something truly interesting that people would be like, wow.
Truly interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Well, there you have it, guys. Damn.
Oh, damn. I'm a boring guy. I don't know, man.
Well, have you gone on a trip recently anywhere? Like, any big trips? Is there anything you want to, like, see or do with your life? Like, is there anything you have for SimDem?
I guess like one of the most important things recently that has happened to me is that the team of my heart, the team of my love, was was league champion again after 9 years, and that's my PFP, the player celebrating with the cup. So for like the past 10, 11 days have been like undescribably happy. Like nothing has ruined my mood. But that's not
Nothing can really match it. It's just like, oh my goodness, this finally happened. Oh, I feel so accomplished.
9 years.
Yeah.
9 years, man.
That's almost a decade. That is a lot of time. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys are able to achieve that, and that victory must be humongous. Alright. On to our second to last question. This one is an extra question that I didn't send in the, of course, interview to all of you guys, but what are your thoughts on the crash out in the Senate and how one should deal with the seats, specifically in reference to the tripod conflict that's currently going on?
Okay, well, obviously I have some amount of bias, right? Since I'm LDP, and I hope the other candidates from Momentum say they're also biased when they talk about this, since Tripod joined Momentum. But I think it's been a constant on SumDem, and I've seen it like 3 times, which is strange because usually, much to people's surprise, SimDem politics aren't really like backstabby, right? But it just so happens to be that I've seen it happen 3 times, where a party will elect someone to a position, to the Senate specifically, or the Parliament, as it happened.
Yeah, back with King.
Expecting that person to work with the party, to vote with the party. Disagreements are understandable, but at the end of the day, if the party wants their own member to be speaker, the senator shouldn't work against that, right? Yeah, since that party elected the person, right? So their caucus, their support, their electorate is the party. It has happened before where like a senator will get elected for a party and then leave it and then join another opposing party. It kind of like going against the spirit of the election that gave them that seat, right? Because that seat was given by their original party, and now they're going against the values and the interests of the people that got them that seat. So while Tripod is like justified in having like on being angry because LDP wanted them to toe the party line, right? It's still not like a crazy thing to ask for, right? If the party elected you, and the people in the party elected you, those people are going to expect you toe the party line, which is why I usually support electoral systems that are party-centric rather than individual-centric. Not only do they make the whole thing more interesting, because it's slightly more like the political mind games, though it can be a little bit more toxic. There's ways to deal with it. It makes it so a senator that gets elected for one party can't just like use them to get elected and leave, which goes against their election, I guess.
Yeah, some could even say it's undemocratic because it's going against the electoral basis that put them there. These people believed in a set value system, and you elected that person to that position to try and implement your values that you believe in. But this person has now used your vote and switched sides to plausibly even the direct opposite side, which is somewhat the case because, as most people probably see on SimDem, is there's of course the 2 big parties with the 2 big factions in it.
Yeah, you summarize what I think pretty clearly. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, thank you for your opinions. So, on to the last question. Can you give us a summary for yourself and what you stand for?
Summary of myself and what I stand for. I'm just gonna go like.
I heard you're legal
over things.
If you want to go over that specifically.
Well, I am a certified attorney. I have no guts to be a litigation attorney. It's not because I don't think I'm like prepared. It's just more so like I don't have the confidence in myself to litigate. But nor usually I'd stand for, like I said, more party-based electoral systems. Like single wider laws rather than multiple smaller laws, just because I believe it's easier to search through a single bill than like have 10 tabs open to search what you need. And just those sorts of things. There's not really like, oh, and foreign policy wise, which we really didn't talk about much. I saw the creation of the League of Servers back way then, but nowadays, SimDem has always been rather like a hermit state. It's rather like self-enclosed, so I don't really see the issue of just like maintaining that. SimDem hasn't really been for a while now, because at the start it was very open, but for a while now it has been very self-enclosed, so I don't see really the issue with leaving the League of Servers, but I have no issues with staying in it either. Again, it's more what's really best for SimDem at a certain point of time.
Okay.
And
yeah,
I think criminally, like sentencing should be shorter. We've had sentencing guidelines are you have months when it should be weeks rather than months, I think. I'm not sure if I'm missing anything else.
So all for that sim exit stuff.
A bit. Right now, yeah.
No. Thank you so much, Creative, for your time today. That was very insightful. And this was the LDP Vice President for the ZEP's Creative Ticket. Thank you for watching. On to the next one. Hello, everybody. We're back with our next candidate, Thyme, from the Momentum Party. Hey, Thyme, would you like to say your name? And I mean, yeah, I did just say your party, but if you just want to say your affiliation with your party and what you are in it.
Yeah, hey everyone. I'm Thyme. I'm one of the 4 founders of the Momentum Party. The T in Momentum stands for time. Yep.
Oh, really? I actually didn't know that. Do the other letters stand for different members of the party as well?
Yes. So that's actually how we came up with Momentum. It's Maddie, My Pen, Time, and Muggy. 3 M's and a T.
Ah, that's actually really cool. Well, so...
yeah, it was it sort of just came together. It was really cool.
Yeah, it actually does that. It does fit really well. It's not like other parties where it's just like an acronym for what they stand for. It's the founding members and what they actually do. Well, I'd like to ask you our real first question. Why are you running for the presidential slot in this current election?
Yeah, so I've been wanting to do a run for honestly a couple of months now. But every time it came up, I was just sort of like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready. Oh, so-and-so is running and I want them to win, and yada, yada, yada. So a bunch of reasons just not wanting to put myself out there. But finally, I'm like, fuck it. New party. It's summer. It's time to celebrate. Why not? So I decided just to put myself out there and run. I think SimDem is heading in a good direction anyway. And I think now is a good time, if I win, to sort of continue to shepherd it in that direction.
Yeah, of course. Well, what will be your main focuses on change once you become president? Is there any like executive orders you want to push out? Is there any like influence in the Senate you want to kind of do in order to try and get done? What's your general goals?
So my big thing, you may have seen it, is this Tau for Bills program. I want to incentivize the everyday SimDimmer to open up a Google Doc, write a bill about whatever they want, and I want them to get paid for it. I want to incentivize the public getting involved in the process. My big thing is just, we have seen a dip in activity. Obviously, if we look at voter turnout, it's been lower than, it's just been, been on a steady decline. I hope that at least getting the people that we do have more involved, it feels more active, more of a tight-knit community than it has recently. In terms of the Senate, my thing with them is they stink, and I will say that until my last dying breath. But they are necessary, so begrudgingly I will work with them. If they need stuff done, I'll get it done for them. I'll pass the laws that matter, and I will veto the stupid shit that they pass.
Understandable, as is every president's duty. I completely understand the sentiment about the senators. I myself am one, and a lot of us suck. I will be honest.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you forgot how to read. It happens to the best of us.
I forgot how to read. I forgot how to walk. I'm in a wheelchair. I forgot,
Yeah,
I had to be
it's tough.
Yeah. The life of a senator is not an easy one.
I know that's right. I've been one a couple of times, and let me tell you, I know that's right.
Yeah. So true. Well, so will you support Supreme Court expansion? And why specifically behind the Supreme Court expansion would you be pushing for it?
So I absolutely support the expansion. And here is my reason. Primarily, it's a thing of activity. When people get on the Supreme Court, they typically just die in that role. Or they get fed up and leave, whatever. There's very rarely turnover for the Supreme Court, which is a good thing. We want the court to sort of be a stable structure in our government. It's the only stable structure. But it would be nice to have more voices in that structure. To have more people sort of lending their arguments for it. Because right now it's sort of 2v1. A lot of the time it's Ivy and Sind versus Sparty a lot of the time. I would like to see more. I would like more dissenting opinions. It would just, in my opinion, open up the judiciary to be more. And I think that's something that we can do right now. I don't think it would heavily tax activity or make things super weird. I think it would be a benefit more than not.
Yeah, I understand. Getting those new faces in there, getting more lively people. Because, yeah, Sin, Ivy, and Sparty, of course they're good, but they're also very old. Do you think there's any problems with their interpretations? Especially since they don't come from the Daniel wave. And now with the Daniel wave here, I'd say at least half of the current active members, if not more, are people from the Daniel wave. Do you think there should be more representation for them in the overall judiciary as well?
So I do. So what I sort of envision for the Supreme Court, if it were to expand, I like having more of the old heads on there than not, simply because they've been around to see so much of our history happen and so much of our legislation get pushed through. They were there for a lot of the case law when it happened, and that is important, and that's the sort of experience that you just don't get coming in and reading the case law. But I think having at least one Daniel spawn on the court would be beneficial, just to have, like I said, just a different perspective, a different voice to help in those decisions, because they're big decisions. Our Supreme Court decisions weigh a lot with their precedent. So I think if I were to put both on, which would be crazy and I don't think I would, but if it passed during my term and I had to appoint, I would appoint one, and it would be a Daniel spawn.
Okay. That's actually very cool. Well, let's move on to our next question. What do you want to do with Tau? Specifically talking about the the currency, because some people get confused every now and then.
With the person.
Yeah. And the general economy of the server. Do you have any plans for that?
So, I've said this before, and I will say it until I die. I am not an economist. I never will be. I never have been. It doesn't make sense to me. Money in general doesn't make sense to me. But I prepared for that because my vice president pick is Maddie, who served as the Secretary of the Treasury for 8 weeks. There are very few people more familiar with our system than he is, and I trust him implicitly to deal with our economy, because what I do know is that it's important that we bolster and incentivize spending and businesses, and I know that needs to happen. I don't know how it needs to happen, but I know that he does, and I'm there to support him in that endeavor.
Okay, well, that's actually very profound and very well thought out. Yeah. Has he told you any plans of what he might try and do with the economy, or is it all still in the works?
I remember when he was the president, he was working on getting a sort of international Tau commerce economy set up with different pole sims to sort of create an exchange, sort of, which would then create value for the Tau. Now, again, not an economist. I don't even know half the words I'm saying right now, but it sounded good when I looked at the plan. I said, wow, that makes sense. So I would like to get back to that, maybe finish it, maybe start implementing it, finding some of these different nations that would be open to working on it with us, and seeing if the public is interested. It seems to me to be a good place to start, though.
Wow, that is pretty cool. Like, would you guys think of sending it to like the League of Servers or other people of that sort?
Yeah, so we have been for a while trying to use sort of the Bicamel Republic as a playground for this. That should be happening soon. But the Bicamel Republic is sort of faltering right now, so we just have to figure that out. But we're gonna go through some testing first before we, even officially do anything with it. But it is on the table for sure.
Okay, that's very cool. Well, would you like to say something interesting about yourself, like something like most people wouldn't know, or if they do know, just going deeper in on it?
Yeah, I've talked a lot about me being an English teacher in the past. And I've mentioned this before, but I don't really talk about it as much. Currently, I'm a radio technician, which is super cool because I get to work with different local governments and state governments and the federal government. And I sort of get to see the operations and help them with their like emergency comms and stuff like that. It's a really fun STEM job if anyone wants to get into it.
Yeah, I imagine. I'm not an engineer, but I have worked in mechanics and different stuff like that. Is there any similarity there?
Yeah, so at my job, we're sort of split into two teams. There's the tech team, which is what I'm on. So we like program the radios and the portables and all of that. And then we have the installer team, which they get to do the cool shit. Like they are always climbing radio towers. They're always installing huge racks and, infrastructure and stuff like that. And they do a lot of car installs, which is cool because I hate cars, but they're always in a car.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's very awesome. Let's move on to our last question. So, what's a summary of what you stand for? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. Honestly, since I've joined, it's sort of been the same thing, which is I really just want people to have fun. I want people to feel safe, and I want people to feel seen. It's easy in a space like this to sort of let people get lost behind, the madness and the chaos and whatever, but it's very important that everyone sort of has a chance to play the game. I mean, I say it all the time, this is a game, we're playing a game. It's important that people get the chance to play it. So everything I try to do to make that as pleasant as possible.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's a very noble goal and a very noble aspect, always being more integrationalist and allowing people to actually have their time in the sun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your very wise and profound words today, and I hope this allows more people to understand what you're standing for and what happens. Would you like to say anything to the people who will be watching this before we end?
Vote with your heart, and I hope your heart wants to vote for me.
Well, thank you, presidential candidate Thyme. Oh, my bad. Well, Well, this is Kelvin, and we are going to stop.